push the button and push another button. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Southern Tier Prepper, Karen Cochran, good to see you. Sir Gregor in the house, KP Heathen, Rum Runner, good to see you. Juby Joe, good morning. Let's see who else we got up in here. Coffee first. Then Speak, good to see you, sister. Hope all is well. Ohio Valley Prepping in the house. What's up, everybody? It's Wednesday, William K's. You know what's up, bro. That's right. Dan H, thank you for the 5x5, brother. Appreciate it. This new software still got me leery, to say the least. For sure. Strategic ETC, good to see you, my friend. Hope all is well with you. And without any further delay, we'll dive right into this sucker. First article here this morning, weatherunderground.com. So you can check the weather forecast in your neck of the woods. Currently, it is 45 degrees. It feels like 38 here in the Hudson Valley. And high temperature going up to 49 today. Yeah, Jules, good morning. My Canadian sister, good to see you. I believe Weather Underground even works in Canada, Jules. So check it out. Awesome forecasting tool. Use it all the time. Let's click into the full forecast and see what it has in store for us for the rest of the week. Love and life, good to see you. This says, let's see, let's click right onto the 10-day, right? That's what we really want. So 49 today, 60 tomorrow, and sunny here in the Hudson Valley, 69 Friday. Wow, mostly cloudy. 81 degrees on Saturday, folks. Wild. 63 on Sunday, 62 on Monday. Slight chance of rain Saturday and Monday. Tuesday, AM showers, 64, 69 on Wednesday, 66 on Thursday, 67 on Friday. I ain't mad. I ain't mad. That's the rest of your week and the whole entire week ahead right there. Looking good. Looking very springtime-ish. Crocheted Gems, good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. Johnny Highwoods. It is indeed chilly, my friend. Super chilly. 70 degrees in Tennessee today, Juby Joe says. That's awesome. That's awesome. Warm weather is always welcome. As long as it doesn't throw us in the boiler, right? I mean, that 81 degrees on Saturday. That's crazy talk. Crazy talk. It snowed here a couple days ago. So, as always, this morning we will check the old stock market, right? See what the stocks are doing. Currently, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down by 97.61 points. S&P down 55. And the NASDAQ is down 323 points currently. Oops, good to see a Pilgrim in the house. Crochet Gem says, it was good to see you last night at the NY Prepper channel. Thank you so much, Crochet Gems. He's a really good friend of mine. I've known Greg since before I started the YouTube channel here, so 6-7 years Greg and I have been friends, and he's a great guy. He's the reason I have a YouTube channel, so I'm always happy to go over and support the friends. He is my my YouTube family for sure. Good friend of mine. And we know the markets suck, right? Speaking of suck, this was actually brought up in the Angry Prepper, the Angry Truth channel midweek report this morning. And Angry could not find any information on this, and I managed to dig up just a little bit. Rescue, good morning. It snowed because Livingston Man wanted to go sledding one more time this season. Could be, Dan H, could be. So yesterday there was a shooting at a Dallas high school. Injures 4 students, and the suspect is now in custody. This happened last night. 4 students were injured at a shooting Tuesday afternoon at Wilmer Hutchins High School in southeast Dallas, police said. A suspect was taken into custody, the school district said Tuesday night, without identifying the person or saying whether the person had been arrested. The investigation is ongoing, and we are limited in what we can share, the district said in a release. 4 injured ranging in age from 15 to 18 were taken to a hospital for treatment, and the severity of their injuries ranged from non-life-threatening to serious, Dallas Fire Rescue spokesperson Jason Evans told a CNN affiliate. 3 of the teens were shot and another was grazed by a bullet, Evans told the WFAA. One of the wounded was shot in the leg and was in stable condition, the outlet reported Tuesday, citing Dallas Fire Rescue officials. The shooting started just after 1 p.m., and an officer at the school responded within 2 minutes, followed by officers from numerous agencies, Stephanie Eldez, superintendent of the Dallas Independent School District, said at a Tuesday news conference. Details about when the suspect was taken into custody weren't immediately available, but no one had been in custody at the time of the early evening news conference, police said. Authorities did not provide any information on what led to the shooting. The investigation was fluid, Christina Smith, the school's district assistant police chief, said in the news conference. This article is a little bit more lengthy. This is just becoming way too familiar, and it should not be familiar, Eslade said. Classes at the high school have been canceled for the rest of the week, she said. The shooting came nearly a year after a different shooting at the high school left 1 injured, according to WFFA. The April 2024 incident, a student brought a handgun into the school, bypassing metal detectors and a clear bag policy, the outlet reported, citing what officials said at the time. After Tuesday's school shooting, the Wilmer Hutchins Elementary School, which is adjacent to the high school, was put on lockdown as a precaution because of its proximity, but was not in danger, she said. The elementary school will hold class on Wednesday and Thursday with a heightened police presence, she said. Texas Governor Greg Abbott called Eslade to get a status report and offer any state resources they needed, while the superintendent said all students who were evacuated were reunified with their parents and guardians, she said. Our hearts go out to the victims of this senseless act of violence at Wilmer Hutchins High School, Abbott said in a release. I offer to support the school district families, students, and staff to provide law enforcement with the tools they need to arrest the criminals involved and bring them to justice. And this article is coming from the old CNN.com. I know just how much we love CNN, right? But it's important to get your news from everywhere, folks, and that is copied and pasted right down in the chat for y'all to read yourselves. Some random dude, what's up, my brother? Malina, good to see you. Thank you for stopping back. Oh, good golly. You never want to hear about that stuff. Ever, ever, ever. At least I know I don't. So, tariffs, right? The tariff thing is it's evolving, right, guys? It's not just pay us when the stuff shows up. This article from CBS 6 News in Albany. I will copy and paste that guy into the chat here for everybody. No, apparently I won't because it's too long. I should be able to shorten. Kablamo. There it is. Hong Kong halts U.S.-bound package shipments in response to Trump's tariff hikes. Hong Kong's postal service will stop shipping packages containing goods destined to the U.S. as part of another retaliatory measure against the tariff policy put in place by the Trump administration, the government said on Wednesday. That sucks. You got packages that you ordered, things that you ordered from probably Amazon, right? There's no telling if it's even going to show up. If it's coming out of Hong Kong, there's a good chance you'll never see this thing, like ever. It's crazy. The government cited President Donald Trump's decision to eliminate the duty-free de minimis treatment for postal items dispatched from Hong Kong to the U.S. and increase the tariffs for postal items containing goods to the U.S. The de minimis exception, allowing shipments of less than $800 to go tax-free, was set to expire on May 2nd, and a 30% tariff would go into effect. Now, Trump's latest executive order hiked rates to 120%. The U.S. is unreasonably bullying and imposing tariffs obtrusively, a statement read. The public in Hong Kong should be prepared to pay exorbitant and unreasonable fees due to the U.S. unreasonable and bullying acts. Mail containing only documents will continue to be accepted. Government officials warned residents of Hong Kong will have to pay exorbitant and unreasonable fees due to the U.S. unreasonable bullying acts. Hong Kong is caught in the middle of a trade dispute between the U.S. and China, despite being a free port. Well, it was at once upon a time. I don't know if that holds true any longer. The former British colony, which returned to Chinese rule in 1997, has trade and customs policies different from mainland China's under the semi-autonomy granted by Beijing during the handover. But Washington began treating it as part of China after Beijing imposed national security law in 2020 and has applied 145% tariffs imposed on Chinese imports. Youch! 145%, guys, that's crazy. Some random dude. Thank you so much, my friend. Really appreciate your donation. You did not have to do that, and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. And that story was from CBS 6 News out of Albany, New York. The next story tugs at the heartstrings a little bit. This one is from AlJazeera.com. And we will copy and paste this guy right into the chat for everybody. Guardian Prepping, good to see you, my friend. Hope all is well with you. Gaza is a mass grave for Palestinians and those helping them, the MSF. Doctors Without Borders slams Israel for targeting humanitarian workers, blocking aid to Gaza, and mass killings. Palestinian lives are being systematically destroyed as Israel continued bombardment of the Gaza Strip shows a blatant disregard for the safety of humanitarian workers, according to the medical aid agency Doctors Without Borders. Amanda Bezaroli, MSF's emergency coordinator with the enclave, said in a statement Wednesday, Gaza has been turned into a mass grave of Palestinians and those coming to their assistance. Last month, Israeli forces opened fire on an ambulance in Gaza, killing 15 medics and rescuers in an incident that prompted international condemnation. We are witnessing in real time the destruction and forced displacement of the entire population in Gaza, she said. Medical facilities are not exempt from attacks and evacuation orders by Israeli forces. MSF teams have had to leave many facilities while others continued operating with staff and patients trapped inside, unable to leave safely for hours at a time, the charity said. With nowhere safe for Palestinians or those trying to help them, the humanitarian response is severely struggling under the weight of the insecurity and critical supply shortages, leaving people with few, if any, options for accessing care, she said. Israel resumed aerial bombardment and ground operations in the Palestinian territory after March after it reneged on a 2-month-old ceasefire. Thousands of people have since been killed, with many more displaced. Israel has also blockaded humanitarian aid from entering Gaza since March 2nd. Medical supplies, fuel, water, and other essentials are in short supply, the United Nations says. Israeli forces to remain in the security zones. On Wednesday, Defense Minister Israeli Katz said Israel's policy is clear and no humanitarian aid will be allowed into Gaza, as it is one of the main pressure tools against Hamas. Wow. In the current reality, no one is going to allow any humanitarian aid into Gaza, and no preparations are being made to allow any of this aid of any kind, he said. Israeli forces will remain in the security zones as a buffer between the enemy and Israel communities in any temporary or permanent situation in Gaza, he said. Wow, this just gets worse and worse and worse. You know, I did a video a couple of years ago, well, after this thing first started, when we decided that we were going to build ourselves a port in Gaza. I told everybody that that port was not there to bring aid to the Gazans. That port was there to ship out the remaining Gazans after this conflict is over. And I still stand by that. I think Israel's goal is to completely remove all Palestinians from Gaza, in my opinion. Some random dude says humanitarian aid equals a new Texas roadhouse in Gaza. Yeah, maybe. Israeli beachfront property is more likely. Sad situation in Gaza. Disgusting. It's disgusting what's going on over there. The lack of respect for human life. I mean, I get fighting terrorists and all that, but when it comes to destroying a whole city, I was looking up some photos before I went live to see if I could share some with you, and without spending like $345 for one picture to share with you guys, there wasn't much that I could do on my own without, you know, going to Gaza and taking pictures myself. Rescue says, I still remember back when they voted Hamas as their leadership. Yeah, well, if you think about Gaza, you know, there's a wall built there between Israel and Gaza. There's a wall. And the Israelis tend to throw garbage over the wall. So the Gazans put a fence on top of the wall to stop that. And now they just throw it higher to get their garbage over the wall and throw it into Gaza. The next news article that we're going to dive into here this morning is from foxnews.com. Liberal outlets say that dogs are actually bad for the environment. Now, they've gone too far, in my opinion. Mother Jones republished an article from a fellow progressive outlet, The Guardian, on Saturday that argued that while dogs may be man's best friend, they're Mother Nature's villains. And cue the crying dog. The left-wing magazine highlighted new research originally published by The Guardian that concluded that dogs have extensive multifarious environmental impacts, disturbing wildlife, polluting waterways, and contributing to carbon emissions. It pinpointed how canines are disturbing native wildlife, particularly shorebirds. An Australian review of the existing studies published in the Pacific Conservation Biology analyzed dog attacks on other animals, finding it may account for the colony's collapse of little penguins in Tasmania, while a study of animals taken to the Australian Zoo Wildlife Hospital found that mortality was highest after dog attacks. Well, no kidding. It just got attacked by a dog. In the U.S., the report continued, studies have found that deer, fox, and bobcats were less active in or avoided wilderness areas where dogs were allowed. Other intel showed that insecticides from flea and tick medications kill aquatic invertebrates when they wash off into waterways. Dog feces, meanwhile, can leave scent traces and affect soil chemistry and plant growth. A canine's carbon footprint is also significant, according to the study. The 2020 study found that dry pet food industry had an environmental footprint that is around twice the land area of the UK, with greenhouse gas emissions equivalent to the 60th highest emitting country. The owners of furry friends weren't particularly impressed by the dog's doom deep dive. They united in rippling the Mother Jones report on X, with several users responding with photos of their own beloved dogs or wondering if a rival animal wrote it. Did a cat write this? The columnist claimed. Good golly. Anything to place the blame anywhere other than themselves, right? I feel that that's the way this whole thing is actually playing out. Folks like to point the finger and say, this is a problem. This is a problem. Sweet baby, come here. Come here. It's okay. Come here. We're not talking about you. You're the good ones. You're the good ones. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. You're going to be okay. I promise I won't let them come after you. I will protect you. Yes, I will. Thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Okay, go see mom, okay? Go see mom? All right. Good girl. Go see mom. Yeah. Don't mess with my dogs. I tell you what, I dug and I dug and I dug for photos for you guys of Gaza after that last story. The dog has the crazy eyes. That's right, Chance. She gets a little excited. We call her the excitador. I am going to copy this and paste this in the chat for you guys. This is for y'all to look at and read yourselves. If I go into this, I'm probably already demonetized from my my Al Jazeera post this morning. So this is going to take you guys on an in-depth ride into everything that's going on over there. The title of it is Gaza, the First Live-Streamed Genocide. And you can watch that yourselves. I will not be reading too much into this for fear of totally being removed from the tube, right? Because that's how they like to treat us around here. And again, all of these articles will be added to the description section and the comments after this live stream ends. So if you're coming back to check it out, it'll all be there for you. Copy and paste a different article for everybody. This next one is from foxnews.com. If you guys travel, especially via airline, and you don't have a real ID, you're in for a rude awakening real soon. Many Americans are rushing to book appointments at their local motor vehicle bureaus to obtain real IDs as the deadline for the license is fast approaching. Beginning May 7th, air travelers at domestic airports and people entering some federal buildings must have what's known as a real ID. Now, the only other thing that is equivalent to this is an enhanced driver's license. I know here in New York State, we offer enhanced driver's license as well. So if you have an enhanced driver's license, you're already good. I believe that is accepted as a real ID just about anywhere. Rob B says, what about the passport? We'll get into that here a little bit. Excuse me. Some states, such as New Jersey, are so overwhelmed with demand right now that there are virtually no appointments available for many people to obtain real IDs, even with the addition of extra booking slots. Besides the appointments currently available, approximately 3,500 new appointments for real ID upgrades are added each morning in a rolling basis. New Jersey DMV spokesperson told Fox News Digital. On top of that, over 4,600 appointments will be added for each new real ID Thursday as they roll over on the schedule, said the spokesperson. Spokesperson added, once again, we recently boosted these appointment figures. Fox News Digital reported Monday that the DMV in New Jersey website showed 0 appointments available for real ID services on its site. Spokesperson added, New Jersey DMV is currently among the leaders of all state DMVs regarding operation hours and real ID appointments. We are open 49.5 hours each week and offer real ID appointments as well as dedicating real ID Thursdays across the state for over 10,000 weekly appointments. We utilize 4 mobile units for real ID events around New Jersey. And on top of those, 10,000 appointments scheduled weekly in the agency, the spokesperson said. New York State is also introducing Real ID Thursdays on April 3rd, so that's already ongoing. Other states have announced they will be extending their DMV hours to meet the demands of Americans rushing to obtain the new forms of identification. It is not easy to get a real ID. Rescue, yes, and before that they did the enhanced driver's licenses, or I think back then you could even get a real ID. I know when I had to renew my driver's license, I just went for the best one that I could get. That way I didn't have to deal with it again. So Southern Tier Prepper, yeah, that's what I have, the enhanced ID. That one allows you to travel to Mexico, Canada, and some of the tropical islands in the Bahamas. KY Survival says Real ID is just another way of turning travel into a revenue source. Could be. It cost me like 20 bucks more than my regular driver's license. So, you know, if you get 20 bucks from everybody, that's a lot of freaking money. The California DMV announced April 7th that select locations will be open an hour early to accommodate Californians rushing to get their IDs before the deadline. 18 locations will open at 7 a.m. weekdays except for Wednesdays. Don't be showing up at 7 a.m. on a we all gonna die Wednesday. You ain't getting into California. Wednesdays will be reserved only for those with scheduled Real ID appointments. Fantastic. We're excited to offer Californians early hours this spring and summer. Steve Gordon, DMV director, in a press release. These additional appointments will make it easier than ever to obtain a Real ID, Gordon said. In Virginia, 2 DMVs hosted 4-hour Real ID appointment-only events the past 2 Saturdays. The special event offered dedicated convenient services for Hampton Road area customers seeking to obtain a Real ID, said one of the event's announcements. Let's see. What else do we have here? For non-Real ID appointments, bring all requirements. Ask nicely, can I apply for a Real ID? That's how it worked for me, said one Redditor. Then a person added, I didn't plan ahead since I thought it was 2 types of ID and not a star added. Another user added, it might be easier to get a passport. I renewed mine online, took me 2 weeks to get it. Said another person, apparently there will be Real ID pop-ups on the weekend throughout the state this month. Not sure exactly where or how it works. Yep, there you have it. Get yourself a Real ID. Moonsprout said, renewed my license in 2023 and it's a Real ID with the star. Yeah, I'm not sure if mine has a star on it or what, but I know it's an enhanced driver's license and it's supposed to allow me access to a whole bunch of places. The New York State DMV said that Real ID is a federally compliant DMV-issued driver's license, learner permit, or non-driver ID that will be required to board a domestic flight within the U.S. or enter certain federal buildings starting May 7th, unless you have a valid passport. So a passport will supersede all of these Real IDs. So if you have a passport, you should probably still get a Real ID. But you can use your passport as a Real ID. And I do believe that was the last article I had for you guys today. K. Paul, what's up, bro? Long time no see, man. Hope all is well with you. Dan H. says, if the Real ID thing is so good, why doesn't it work in place of passports? Well, Dan H., it does in some cases. If you're going to Mexico or Canada or islands that are very close to the United States, bordering countries, you can get in and out of with just your driver's license. You don't need that passport. It's weird, but whatever. All part of the new changing system, right? Back to the markets. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is now up 5 points. S&P is down 36. The NASDAQ is down 253. Gold is up $86.30 an ounce, and it is at $3,326.70. Wow. Wow. I remember gold was $1,100, folks. Oil is up $1.15 a barrel, putting a barrel of oil at $62.48 currently. Moonsprout says, I am more concerned with the facial recognition scanning when traveling. Moonsprouts, it's everywhere. They have those cameras in Walmarts. They have them in Lowe's. I want to say they're slyly trying to become China by putting these cameras up everywhere. Some towns are putting up cameras on the sidewalks and street lamps and things like that just to monitor folks. I don't know stinking ID. William K. So as long as you're not going into a federal building or boarding a domestic flight anywhere, you really don't need it. Oh, Sarosa, I'm so sorry. That's a nightmare. KY Survival says some little puke with a laser printer is about to make a fortune printing off IDs. Yeah. Yeah. Some random dude says it's optional at TSA. Rescue, yeah, especially if you have an iPhone, man. Have you guys ever seen how much infrared light those things flash at you? Those facial face unlock things? It's I happen to have some cameras that pick up infrared, and let me tell you something. People walking around with iPhones, they're like walking strobe lights. You can see the thing flashing in their pocket. You can see it flashing in the sky. It's wild. It's wild. It cannot be good for you to have that kind of light flashing into your face all the time when you have that thing in your hand. It doesn't turn off until you unlock the phone, because it's constantly searching for your face with infrared light, always looking for your face with this strobe of infrared light. Every second it's strobing, looking for your face. When it finds it, turns off after it unlocks your phone. But every time that phone locks, it's KY Survival. That is if you have that facial recognition unlock turned on, where you just look at your phone and it unlocks. That's what gets you. It uses infrared cameras to scan your face, to map your face, and to unlock the phone. I'm actually going to do a video about that. What do you guys think? Because I've got some cameras that'll capture it, and then I can play it back for you guys so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Because some folks out there are like, what the hell are you talking about, Mike? Well, I'll show you. I'll show you. I'm just going to have to abduct one of my children with an iPhone and then, you know, video their phone. Because it's wild, man. It's wild. My Psionics Aurora Pro camera is what actually picks all that up. It sees an infrared and a couple other spectrums and then kind of blends them all together so you get a good picture. K. Paul says, I'm glad I have an old 4G phone. Right on, man. KY Survival, I promise you, it's not cheap night vision, but it is night vision in full color. Full color. It's pretty awesome. I love the thing. Super cool. Super cool. Well, thank you for joining me on this We All Gonna Die Wednesday early edition. I really appreciate y'all being here, hanging out this morning. If you're having a great time, if you learned something today, if you got anything off the news, smash that like button for me. Really appreciate it. Helps with the algorithms, so they say. You know they're not going to share this out, so unless you do it, it ain't going nowhere. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being here. And again, I will put all of this in the comment section of the video as soon as I get it back up and done. Once I click off this, I can click back on it and then upload the comments. Appreciate y'all. I will catch you tonight, 7:30 p.m. EST for the We All Gonna Die Wednesday big show. We'll be in the big studio with the Livingston Man and the whole 9 yards. Good Lord willing. Thank you for being here, folks. Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, and I will catch you tonight. Stay safe.